All right, now in this exercise, I want to show you something called Browser Lab. Now, don't forget we had a new Browser Lab panel back in Dreamweaver, so there's a lot of tight integration here between Browser Lab and Dreamweaver, the new version of Dreamweaver, Dreamweaver CS5, of course. What's bananas, by the way, about the Browser Lab panel back in Dreamweaver is it's going to allow us to preview local content. In other words, pages that exist only on our computer, we can actually preview them inside Browser Lab. Now, what the heck is Browser Lab? What am I going on about? Well, let's check it out in a little more detail. One of the biggest questions I get from Mac users is, after I build my website, after I build my blog, you know, my WordPress blog or whatever, how am I supposed to tell what it looks like on the Windows side? How am I supposed to tell what it looks like inside Firefox on, you know, Windows XP? Or the other question I get is from PC users. How am I supposed to tell what my site looks like inside Safari? Are you telling me I have to go and buy a Mac just to preview it? Well, that's what Browser Lab's all about, is we have a collection of platforms and we have a collection of web browsers. So we can preview our content inside these different browsers, right? Let me show you what I'm talking about here. So what I did is I logged into the Adobe Browser Lab. So I just went to, I'll just show you here quickly, browserlab.adobe.com. You're going to need an Adobe ID to sign in. But once you're signed in, this is what you'll see here. And then what I'm going to do is I'll click on Browser Sets here at the top. And what that does is that brings me into my browser sets. Now, I've just been messing with the default set. You can go and add in as many sets as you want, you know, if you like. But and then inside each set, I can specify which browsers I want. And this list of browsers is only going to get, you know, longer and longer, right? But the ones that I have marked off anyway, I have Chrome 3 on Windows XP. I have Firefox 3 on OS 10, Firefox 3 on Windows XP, and IE7 Windows XP, and Safari 3 on OS 10. But you can see there's a bunch of others in there as well. No Windows 7 yet, which, I don't know. For me, again, as a Mac guy, it's I would love to see Windows 7, and I'm sure it's on the way as well. So, you know what else I would love to see in here as well is some Linux builds as well. Anyway, I'm sure they're on the way. Now, what I would do is I would come in here and I would mark off which browsers I actually want to use in my test. So you can see here, I've already marked a bunch off here. You just come in and you check them off, right? It's no big deal, right? They get added onto the right-hand side here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on Test up at the top. And then what I would do is I would type out, at least in my case here, because I'm running this obviously directly inside my browser, is I would type in the path to the file that I want to preview in these different browsers. So I'm going to use the 10ton site. So http://www.10tonbooks.com. Enter. And what happens is the browsers kind of go to work here. They start churning away here. And depending on the complexity of the site, depending on the number of browsers that you had marked off, this could take a little while. But what's cool is as other browsers are still churning, some browsers finish. So any browsers that are finished, their Chrome just finished there as well, I can go and start checking them out. So I'll click on Firefox 3 OS 10, and what I get here is this is my preview. This is what 10tonbooks.com looks like inside Firefox 3 on OS 10, Mac OS 10. Not too shabby. Now, how do I know which browser I'm inside? Well, up in the top left corner, I have this drop down. Firefox 3 OS 10, I can click on that guy, and I could switch to, this is always the nasty one, IE7 Windows XP. I guess version 7 isn't too bad, but myself and Internet Explorer and every other web designer don't have the best relationship. Anyway, so it's actually looking pretty good, which is nice to see. It's actually looking very good. So you get the idea. I can drop down this menu. I can go and check out the different browsers, right? See how things are looking here. Very cool, by the way. But I have a few other options here that I want to show you. Rather than viewing, you know, one browser at a time, I actually have a 2-up view. So if I head up to this view menu on the left side there, I could switch, instead of 1-up, I'm going to go 2-up. And now I get two browsers side by side. And if I scroll one, the other one scrolls. You know what I mean? So here's the scroll bar on the left-hand side. Here's the scroll bar way over here on the right-hand side. So you can kind of do this direct side-by-side comparison, which is awesome. So I can see there is some shifting. There is some content that's moving around there. There I see the title bar there, Seriously Apple, is all nice and lined up there. But then as I scroll down, you can see the image is a little bit taller on the right-hand side. And as I go down even further, you can see the WordPress there. Title bar is way down there. So here on the right-hand side, I'm in Internet Explorer 7 on Windows XP. Over on the left, it's Chrome 3 on Windows XP. So I could drop down this menu and I could say, all right, show me what it looks like in Firefox 3 on Windows XP on the right-hand side. And on the left-hand side, we'll switch it to Safari. You get the idea, right? So it's pretty cool stuff. All right, good stuff. The other thing that I wanted to show you here is I actually have this... I think it's called Onion Skin, actually. If I drop down this this view menu, we have Onion Skin. I call this the tequila view anyway, but what we actually get is this overlay, one browser on top of the other. So I have Safari 3 on OS X overlaid on top of Firefox 3 on Windows XP. And I can see there's all kinds of shifting and all kinds of stuff happening there. There's a disgruntled Jeff at all of this shifting that's happening. And what's cool here is I can use this slider at the top. Right now we're at a 50-50, so we're seeing 50% Safari, 50% Firefox. If I drag my slider to the left, now I'm at 75% Safari, 25% Firefox. You know what I mean? So it's really, I think this is awesome. Anyway, myself. Saves a lot of, like for myself, it hasn't been too big of a deal because I have Macs and PCs here, so, and I have all the the common browsers loaded up between them, so it hasn't been a huge deal. But what I love about this is now I can do all my previewing all in one spot, which is amazing. So I will leave this on the tequila view for you. There it is. There's Adobe Browser Lab. Again, watch for it being built into Dreamweaver CS5.